welcome back to another Miscellaneous Monday. In a mad rush as always, because that's just the way my life goes. I'm even talking a little faster today. But right now, we got to cut a piece of aluminum out. Making a little project for a neighbor friend. I'll show you what it is. I'm going to just give you a quick rundown on how I prep aluminum for welding and fabrication, how I do it, how I keep the product clean, to get the best long-term result I can. This is what I do whether I'm on a budget or not. If I'm well. Looks like we're parallel. I try to get the sheet square. I usually measure it, but I've got too much stuff in here in the way right now because just got too much going on. But I get the plate square to the table so that way I don't end up with a bunch of odd shapes and a bunch of wasted material out of a sheet of whatever I'm cutting out of. Square usually ends up being the best situation. If I end up cutting some drops later, then I'll just position them however I've got to burn up a little bit of space in the drops. Make sense? Hope so. I like to use a dual action sander. This one runs off of air. I like to use this on aluminum, especially if I'm cutting something out of a piece of aluminum that's been scratched up, or I'm just trying to save a buck and do a feller a favor. And in the end, he'll probably paint it or wrap it. So it won't really matter, but until then, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Sometimes does that have anything to do with anything? Warm and fuzzy inside. It just gives it a little more of a professional look. And I also, anytime I'm sanding on or deburring or doing aluminum, I like to use a clean piece of sandpaper or a sanding disc, so you don't enter it. Because when I say clean, I mean something that hasn't been used on iron, because sometimes you can rub iron into the surface, and then if it does end up being left bare, then you can end up with little rust bleeds all over the place. Rust bleeds, or I'd call it bleeding rust. It's because you get iron into the surface, and if you get iron into the surface and it comes into contact with water, it can rust. Maybe it'd be kind of a cool look on something like this. I don't know, and there is a possibility I could get some into the surface on the back side here. And actually, I think about this. I think I'm gonna put a piece of cardboard down so I don't rub anything into the surface from this iron table. Better than a piece of cardboard, another piece of aluminum. Whew, that's too loud. So once I've got my aluminum piece DA down, this is kind of the finish, that it ends up with. You can see the DA marks. And what this does by DAing it off, it gets rid of the aluminum oxides and preps aluminum for welding to try to keep a cleaner weld. I'm in a rush and on this one, so I'm just gonna end up hitting it with a spool gun to make it quick and easy. Could do it with a TIG, but machine's all buttoned away, so let's get this thing bent and keep on moving. I want to be patient when I'm doing this so I don't End up with a crooked bend. Oop. Sorry, y'all. Well, that was a close one. Just about completely ruined the tripod. I want to do is space these out so that way, come on now, I can get this flange and this flange to pass by. And if we got a little gap in between each of these fingers, we will be okay. Snug as a bug in a rug, as they say. Who's they saying that? I don't know. Sorry. All right, now that I've got a flange meaning a bent edge, all the way around this thing, all four sides, now I've just got to weld the corners up. And then we'll have this portion of the project complete. All right, so when I weld thin stuff like this, I just pulse the trigger. Just basically stack tacks for something like this where it's not super critical for strength. Just want to close it up, leave a finished edge and give it just a little bit of rigidity. But you can see, I just stacked them. It's not 100% perfect. We'll just DA this just a hair to make sure we don't have any sharp edges because of the application of what this thing is being used for. Well, there you have it. That's how I prep for basic aluminum jobs. Number one, I make the part, obvious. Number two, I sand it. I clean all the oxide, and if there's any kind of slag or any contamination that I can physically see, I sand it out, get rid of it, and then I weld it. But then in this case, for the final product, I didn't want to have any showing welds. So what I did was I sanded those down after the fact. So I'm going to swing it around and show you what it looks like. So there you have it, the part we made. So what is it for? I guess you're just gonna have to hang tight and see. Suspense, that's what I call it. If you like this, please smash the like button, please subscribe. Venture on, we'll catch you later.